Good morning and welcome to our Sunday school class. We're going to get back to talking about miracles of deliverance, and the one we're going to do today is very familiar. The wind and the sea obeying Jesus, and that's in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but is not recorded in John. So, Bill, if you would get Matthew 8:23 through 27, Lanee, Mark 4:37 through 41, and I'll get Luke 8:22 to 25.
What was mine again, Matthew? What?
8:23.
You said
What is it?
Oh, I found it.
Oh. So did I get the
41? No, I heard the wrong. No, you're good. Alright. You want to go first, Bill?
Matthew 8:23 to 27.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I just noticed that 4 verses in a row start with "and." And when he was entered into a ship, and his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he said unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm.
Then, wow, that's switching it up there.
I am not. Oh my goodness, there's so many verses that start with "and."
Mm-hmm. Well, all of them start with "and" for me.
Really?
And the same day when the evening was come, he saith unto them, Let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there were also with him other little ships. That's like within the verse. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him, and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and sea obey him? Man, my English teacher would be having a field day with this.
It's one of those things, like, we know this guy from, this preacher from Tennessee, and his name is Brother Winchester. When he preaches, he always says amen, but it's every other sentence, you know. I mean, if not every sentence, it's like, and then the Lord blessed him, amen, and then he went down, amen. It's just every time. It's so funny.
He's such a good preacher.
He's such a good preacher too. It's just sometimes you get lost in the amens. You know?
It's like the amens here.
Now let's read Luke's account. Now it came to pass on a certain day that he went into his ship with his disciples, and he said unto them, Let us go over unto the other side of the lake. And they launched forth. But as they sailed, he fell asleep, and there came down a storm of wind on the lake, and they were filled with water and were in jeopardy. And they came to him and awoke him, saying, Master, Master, we perish. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a calm. And he said unto them, Where is your faith? And they, being afraid, wondered, saying one to another, What manner of man is this? For he commandeth even the winds and the water, and they obey him. And they arrived at the country of the Gadarenes, which is over against Galilee. Okay. So let's go.
Luke is a considerably better writer than more creative
yes,
writer than Matthew and Mark.
So let's look at Matthew's account. As everybody was reading, I only noticed that in Mark's account, it's recorded what he says to the wind and the sea. Only Mark he says, I messed it up. Where he says, And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. Okay, so let's find where Matthew talks about it. Okay, where are we? Matthew, what was it, 8:23?
26. And he saith unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds of the sea, and there was a great calm.
Okay, and then Mark. No, not Mark. Luke.
They came to him and woke him, saying, Master, Master, we perish. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a calm. So Mark is the only place where it actually says, Peace, be still.
Yes. And sometimes it helps to know what was said.
Mhm.
Like, what were the words that he said that calmed this storm? And of course they all described the storm differently, which Luke, I guess he was very like proper in the way he said his things.
And there came down a storm of wind onto the lake, and they were filled with water
and were in jeopardy. Yes. Yes. And so I'm like, okay, I hear you, Luke. And then when you look at Mark, where's it at? Mark says, and there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full.
See,
I just took my boating course, and what they say to do is you should never turn the. Well, I think it is. You shouldn't have the stern into the wind when there's a storm, because otherwise it'll go into the boat, and but I don't think they knew that.
They didn't. They were.
Yeah.
And then Matthew.
They probably didn't even have lights on the running sides.
Matthew, he said, let's see, how does Matthew say? 8:20. Then wait. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, and so much that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. Okay, so I kind of like Matthew's
that's a very
description more
bad
because
situation just from that. The ship was covered with the waves. Oh,
yes.
I don't think that's good.
I mean, they were all detailed, but Matthew's, they all have their own way of describing.
Matthew's is more easy to visualize.
Yes,
because
a great
a
tempest
great
in the
storm
sea
of wind
hit the lake. What's it was a tornado?
Right? Was it a hurricane?
A hurricane?
What's going on
like
here?
Yeah. But he says a great tempest in the sea, and so much that the ship was covered with the waves. I can see that.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm trying to envision the wind on the lake kind of.
I think Mark has almost like oh no, there's big words here and I don't know any of them. You know, like where you can almost hear it when you read it. It's like, and the waves beat into the ship. You know,
yes.
It's like a very odd. No.
Onomatopoeia.
Kind of, but like never mind.
They're more descriptive words.
Yes, you can hear it when you see it.
Yes.
Matthew's is like you can see it happening. Mark's is you can hear it. You know?
Luke's is
you're still you're trying.
You're writing an essay about it.
Well, also looking at the ship, what Jesus was doing, and Matthew just says, but he was asleep. Okay, Mark though goes in a little more detail than that, and he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. What does Luke say?
But as they sailed, he fell asleep.
That's it. So.
Also, question.
Yes.
That's a Matthew.
Where did the little ships go?
In the other two books? Because weren't they in?
No, I mean just like in the windstorm.
They were gone. I guess
Mark is the only one that mentions.
Yeah. There were also with them other little ships.
Well, I guess Matthew they were gone. Yeah, although if the little ships were with Jesus and he awoke and said, "Peace be still," do you think they'll still be there? Or were they already gone when right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Or were they already gone when the tempest of the sea started?
I don't know. It's interesting.
You could still be it for the windstorm.
Like it doesn't say.
Yeah, it doesn't specify.
It's just like the detail, but only Mark mentions anything about the other ships.
Yeah, because then as soon as they tell this, then it goes into Legion.
Yeah,
like immediately.
Well, it's funny about Matthew's. Was Mark wasn't with the disciples, right? Was he? Do we know? I don't think he was.
Yeah, he was.
He was?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it was Luke's. Let's see. Luke's was like he already fell asleep. Then Matthew and Mark's, because they were there, were all kind of like angry that he was asleep. Like Matthew said, but he was asleep. And then Mark said he was asleep in the ship, asleep on a pillow, and they wake him and say to him, "Master, carest not that we perish." It's just like it feels like they're almost not angry, but they're like.
There were definitely some steps that they could have taken before. Don't you care if we're dying?
Yeah. Well, and I don't. And they thought, okay,
the waves were covering the ship, and he was still asleep.
He was in the hinder part of the boat, though.
So
do you think it was? Do you think where he was sleeping at though, he was being covered by water and he still stayed asleep?
Usually in like the hinder parts of the ship, there's like the little the little thing that
The
covers
cover.
the end.
Yep.
So he's probably like shoved in there. And
Fishing boats, though.
Yeah, these are
they were probably on a fishing boat.
Well, I know.
They were
No.
fishermen.
I mean, these boats were. I don't think they had that, but I don't know. I've only seen the picture. I'm pretty sure they were just like Viking longboat type things.
I don't know.
Who knows? I don't think they had a
No,
cabin.
we don't know. We don't have a. I mean, it'd be cool to see
We
like
don't have
a
a disciple
visual.
boat on hand.
Right.
But,
I forgot mine at home.
But he.
yeah.
But
This is your
Mark
house.
said he had a pillow. They made sure he had a pillow to sleep on. So
I know.
it's almost like they knew
They're
he.
kings.
Well, he needed rest.
Oh yeah, it definitely.
And so
did.
people think, well,
There's a limit to how far you can sleep when you hear like there's a huge windstorm going on.
maybe he
in
was
a
in
storm.
deep sleep.
I don't think he was sleeping. I honestly, I don't think he was asleep. I think he was just laying there with his eyes shut,
Resting?
laughing at him.
He was resting.
Yeah, they're like, "Ah," and he's just like.
Well, I know. I'm just imagining them like carrying around a pillow 24/7 in case
Oh, that'd
Jesus
be
needs to
Needs to take a
sleep.
nap. Yep.
He just
They're like,
has it in his
did you bring the
bag.
Jesus pillow? No, I left it. I left it at
No.
the end.
No.
How dare you?
Oh,
Well,
you know how crazy
I
it
mean
is.
that really makes you think though, because it says the waves covered.
Every time we forget his pillow, he keeps doing more and more revealing parables. They're more and more pointed every time.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he almost said my name in the last one.
Right.
He caught himself, but he almost did.
I heard a little Nathaniel in there.
And then, the man.
So,
And then Pietro.
Blessed are they which forget not the pillow.
question. In all three books, it says, why do I keep not being able to find Matthews? Every time I go to
Yeah, I
Matthew,
know,
I can't
it's
find
so
it.
bad.
Okay. In Matthew's account,
There's only
his
3 verses.
disciples
It's probably
came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. In Matthew's account, it doesn't say, Lord, cares not that we perish. It says, he and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. Now, in Mark,
Paris is probably something Peter would have said.
well, in Mark, though, they said, Master, carest thou not that we perish? Luke says,
Master,
what?
Master, we perish.
Master. So, Mark's account is the only one that is questioning it, whereas Matthew and Luke are saying, Lord, save us, we perish. Master, we perish. Why? Okay, so we almost need to look at the disciple Mark.
Yeah, I feel like, since Matthew and Mark were both there, they probably were looking at the situation differently while it was happening. Maybe Mark was more like, Jesus, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing anything? Why are you
What
still
were we just
asleep?
talking about then?
Yes,
We were.
we were.
Like literally just saying, where's Sister
So many
Vicky?
visitors. But
He's
then
eating lunch.
maybe Matthew had like a more
Matthew-
desperate approach rather
Yes.
than Jesus.
What, you don't care that we're going to die?
Jesus,
he
I
said,
am
"Lord,
entitled to your
save us."
help.
Well, he
That was
said,
Matthews.
Matthew
I don't
said,
know if that's what they said. Maybe that's just what they heard. I
Yeah.
think there was a windstorm going on. Maybe they couldn't hear very well. And Mark just was like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think it just differs from person to person. And then,
descriptive
of
imagery.
course, Luke had like the after it happened. account.
yeah,
Yeah.
Master.
So he probably
yes.
would be more on the side
we
of
said
like,
help. That's
Well, I
really
like
what we
Matt.
said. We said help.
I believe I like Matthew's approach to it
Yeah.
because it was the way, and his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, "Lord, save us, we perish."
it seems more nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. Instead of it saying, and he
Lord,
arose,
help us.
okay,
It's
and he was in the hind
whatever
part.
that guy's name is.
they
Albert
awake
Swift.
him and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish?
That's
Like,
still,
why
no.
is it a question in Mark's mind?
Well, I
Didn't
think
you
I
hear they were gonna
could.
die? Like Jesus.
They're literally in the middle of this shit. Like, listen, if we were cleaning up lunch and I was sleeping upstairs and you saw that I was asleep upstairs, don't you think you would be
Carest
a
thou
little?
not that we clean?
Would you not be a little peeved that I didn't care
Bill,
enough to
come
help clean
help
up?
us. We need help cleaning.
No, yeah, it would be
I'm
like,
Matthew.
come on, what are you doing? That's what
Mama
they
is
were, and that's not a
I
life or
think
death
I'm Luke,
situation.
honestly, I'm like, Bill, Come
No,
on.
but that's not a
Yeah.
life or death. They're in a life or death situation, and not only that, they know absolutely without a
also
shadow of
you are
doubt.
not
Is this the
Jesus.
first time? Is this the first time he calmed the storm? I don't think so. Is it he calmed one before?
Yeah,
I
because
think this
the
is
next
the first one.
the next one is
like
them Jesus walking on
3
water
of them.
with Peter.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, but they knew he could do it, but
Yeah,
he's just
so,
asleep.
like, yeah. But, okay, so
Surely he knows what's
just
going
because
on.
somebody is sleeping doesn't mean they don't necessarily know what's going on around them. Because
That's
have you
true.
ever been
Yeah.
like sleep, but
Oh,
you
all
can
the
still
time.
hear
All
all
the
the things
time.
around
Yeah.
you?
This
I
morning
just
I
didn't
was like very much asleep, but I knew that Mom opened my door and then closed my door. I didn't know what she was doing, but she was taking a picture
Yeah.
of me cuddling my Build-A-Bear frog. But no, I heard her go in and out, and then I was like, "What was that?" But I was.
And that was
Yeah,
your
well,
door
so, like,
opening.
I was-
That wasn't a cyclone in the middle of water. Like surely he knew what was going on.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
You can
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sleep
you
and
can be
still hear
sleeping.
things.
Granny like it pulls my curves off and turns on my AKC and just like I don't know. There's no way that she said it. There's no way you can't hear me or whatever. And like that's what they're doing. Come on, why are you getting up? Are you too tired to let it? Because he's
Well,
gonna
like
die
last
too.
night,
Well,
I was
I
like
mean-
sleeping, but I can still hear the dogs that are like a street behind us.
Mhm.
I'm like, do they not put their dogs inside at night?
Right,
Because
like,
all
it's not
you hear
enough
is them
to fully
barking.
wake you up,
No,
though.
but I could just hear the barking
Sure.
and stuff like that. I'm just like, what in the world?
I can see
What?
where they're coming from. They were
We have to
upset
put
that they
chairs
thought
in.
they were gonna die. Which if they did, they wouldn't have to worry about back talking Jesus. So
Well, I mean, definitely. If I was, and I've not been in that situation, and still sometimes when
when
you
you're
pray,
in
you're
the middle
like,
of water, you can't
Lord,
see
aren't you gonna
land,
help me with this?
in
Like-
Yeah.
storm.
Yeah, that's
like.
yeah,
We
like
get a little indignant. They were like, Lord,
Yeah, we do
why
that.
aren't you helping me?
yeah,
with this?
we
I
do
need
that,
help.
and sometimes we come to be we're like the Matthew approach.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, save us, we perish. Sometimes we're the Mark approach. Lord, are you going to help us do this? And sometimes we're the Luke approach. Lord, help us.
Yeah.
And so we're like all the
approach.
it really does depend on how you. But in the whole situation, in the back of their minds, they knew who was on their ship.
Sure. Well, and the reason Jesus didn't get up is because he wanted them to handle it with their faith, and then when they
Well,
did, he was finally like, wow.
that's what I was about to get to. Matthew. Why do I keep doing this to Matthew? Sorry, Matthew. And he saith unto them, why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? That's what Matthew says. Mark, why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith?
No faith. Oof.
Like no faith. He didn't say little, he said
Yeah.
none.
Because where
You
is
don't
your
got no
faith?
faith.
Luke is, where is your faith?
It's
Luke
always,
seems to have a simpler approach.
Yes,
it's
he
the
does.
soft. Yeah, it's the soft answer turneth away wrath with Luke.
Yeah.
And Mark is not hiding anything.
No.
It's pedal to the metal. Save us. Don't you care that we perished? You have no faith. And then
Right.
you
He
got
said no
Matthew.
faith. Whereas Matthew, why are you fearful, O ye of little faith?
It's okay. Okay. One thing about that, the last verse of it where it says, "But the men marveled," in Matthew. But the men marveled, saying, "What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" Exclamation point.
Okay.
Mark, and they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, "What manner of man is this, that even the wind and sea obey him?" Question mark.
Question. Why is that a question?
And they being afraid, in Luke, wondered, saying one to another, "What manner of man is this?" Exclamation point. For he commandeth even the winds and water, and they obey him. Period. So again,
Mark-
Luke is taking a more like
Factual.
factual, matter of fact approach, like he
Yes.
usually
Yeah,
does.
he does.
Matthew is like, why are ye fearful of ye of little faith?
Emotional,
But
yeah.
the men marveled, saying, "What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" And Mark is like, well, we expected Jesus to help us. Oh wow, that was fast.
That was nice.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
Master, carest thou not that we perish? Oh, we also have no faith, and we feared exceedingly.
Yeah.
It's just very, very like emotional approach.
Well, I'll say, okay, real quick. Matthew's approach to the storm and everything like that is where I see like people that have honestly trusted, believed that God was always there, that always going to be there. Mark is the ones that, yes, I believe in God, but I still want to question what's going on.
Skeptics.
Why is this? And then Luke, he's just like right there.
Yeah.
Someone that is not necessarily new to the Christian faith, but is very understanding
Following
It's
about.
interesting because he doesn't have the emotional side
No.
because he wasn't
Following
there.
from the
No.
outside, yeah.
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 It's interesting.
It's very interesting to picture Luke as like almost like a news reporter going out, like the, the
I know,
guy,
that's
Yeah.
what I always think
the
about,
guy
like, him
outside just
interviewing
interviewing.
disciples
Yeah.
and
Well, and we don't want to put John in there. John didn't have this
Yeah.
particular miracle, but
honestly,
I'm sure
if John
I
would
wonder
have
if he was
recorded
here
it, he would have been like,
one of the other boats.
and Jesus was sleeping peacefully in the back
Yes.
of the boat.
he would
We
give
reluctantly-
more
I
detail about
reluctantly
what
awoke
was
him.
Jesus,
I did
what
want
Jesus
to
was
wake him,
doing.
but I had to, or we
Yes,
would die. Yeah.
like
And
stuff like that.
I gently said, Jesus, we are
Please,
about to
please
die. Will
wake
you
up,
please
Lord.
help us?
If
Right.
you love me,
Only if you feel like it.
Right. That would be John. Okay, so
Or
as
you
we're,
would say that Peter yelled at Jesus.
yeah,
Still
Then
Peter,
Peter yelled at
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
"Get up!"
Peter said, Master, carest thou not
that we perish. Boy. Okay, so
Get
looking
up,
at
dummy.
today, we're just looking at the different approaches from Matthew, Mark, and Luke's, and then we just talked about John's.
Yeah.
But if you were in a situation like that, what would your approach be? How would you be in a? And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a storm on a boat and at sea. It like your life.
Storm in your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Who would you like? Which approach would you take from that? Would you be a Matthew who is calm and just really wants the Lord to help you? Would you be a Mark? Lord, are you going to help me or not? Because this is not getting any better. And my faith right now is not that great. Or are you a Luke who, Lord, please help us. We need you to help us right now in this
It
situation.
reminds me of like Luke's perspective. It's like how God looks at things. 'Cause
Yes.
it's after he knows what's gonna happen. He knows what's happened after the fact,
Yes.
and so it's like a more matter of fact approach.
Yes.
This was really
So yes, very interesting. So which one are you? You can let us know in the comments if you would like to. Please join us in our
Sunday morning worship service.
Sunday morning worship service. Have a great day.